Hi, welcome to the Heart Signal podcast. My name is Clayton Tidwell, the founder of Next Gen Insight, the production company for Heart Signal for Heart Signal podcast. Today, our guest is Azmina Panjwani. She is the co-founder, director of sales and operations for Earthside Farms, a vegan health food snack company who has just grown like gangbusters. Azmina, would you give us a bit of a background on how you guys got started and where you find yourselves today?
Yeah, absolutely. So Clayton, thank you so much for having us on. It's been such a ride at Earthside Farms. Like you said, we're a vegan health snack company. We focus on better for you snacks made with clean ingredients, gluten-free, vegan, keto-friendly, non-GMO, pretty much all the health benefits you can kind of think of. And our snacks, basically, we have two main lines, one of candied nuts and one of dried fruit, specifically dried mangoes. And we like to experiment with innovative flavors that you haven't really heard before. Some of our most popular flavors are blueberry vanilla cashews, banana bread walnuts. On the mango side, we have citrus splash dried mangoes, and my personal favorite, peach paradise dried mangoes. So a nice variety of flavors. And the way that we got started was really finding a gap in the market for something that was healthy but also delicious. So my co-founder and I, we met at a trade show in New York. We were kind of talking about food and we got to talking, and I come from a food background. I've been in food all my life. I had my own catering business in Chicago, and I just wanted to really find a type of snack that not only tastes good, but you can also feel good about eating, so you're guilt-free. And I know we have a lot of health food brands out there in the market, but there's always a catch to it. And I didn't want to be part of that. I wanted to make something that you didn't have to worry about. You can eat on your own, you can share with your friends, you can share with your family. And that left you, with a good feeling, both inside and out.
Well, at what point did you know that you had something like really retail worthy and not just good
Yeah,
recipe?
I think so. It started just as an idea, and I was experimenting in the kitchen and I was cooking up different flavors of nuts and mangoes and sharing it with friends and family. And at first, it just turned into, oh, hey, can you make that for this party that we're having? Or, hey, we're going on a road trip. Can you bring snacks? And then it turned into, hey, I'm actually hosting a party. Can I buy some snacks from you? Or, hey, I'm giving out goodie bags for my kid's birthday. Can you make a bunch and I'll actually pay you for it? And that's
Yeah,
when it
ding,
kind
ding,
of
ding idea,
clicked.
right?
Yeah, that's where it clicked. You're at first you're like, oh no, don't worry about it. I'll give you a few. I'll make it for you because you're trying to be nice to your friends. And then
Yeah,
you're getting a lot of requests, and
yeah.
people are actually asking. And then even advising you, if I bought these, I would eat them all the time, or I would substitute this for that snack. And it kind of snowballed from there.
So most health food snack brands, when they launch, they tend to stall within about 18 months. What do you
Yeah,
think you guys got right in year one that most don't?
that's a great question. I think my co-founder and I just had so much passion that we wanted to make it work, and we put in the hours and the time and took the time to actually listen to feedback as well. So we played around with so many different iterations of flavors. I could probably show you spreadsheets of how many times we, took a flavor, did some research on it, did another, recipe on it. And we kind of didn't take no for an answer, but we also realized that, perfection has to be sought out. And we really, really wanted a product that people would not only like, but they would crave. And I think once we made that crave-worthy flavor and we found what people were asking for without even knowing about it, that's what set us apart from the rest of the market is we gave our consumers what they were asking from us. And we didn't stop, and we're still not stopping. We're still, taking that feedback and creating more and getting more out there.
So at our side, like you said, you're carrying a lot of claims at once. You get vegan and
Hmm.
gluten-free and non-GMO, no added sugar, keto-friendly.
Yeah.
When you're developing a new flavor or format, how much does the compliance burden actually shape what gets launched and when?
Yeah. It's actually a pretty tedious process and involves a lot of paperwork. So, for example, we have organic and non-GMO claims, and throughout that process, it's not just about applying for paperwork and getting it. We have to make sure that we talk to our suppliers to ensure that they can meet our standards. We need to make sure that the vendors that we're working for, it's coming from a trusted brand, because we're obviously, our consumers are trusting Earthside Farms, but we
Yeah.
source ingredients. So we need to make sure whoever we're sourcing from can also meet our standards, is also trustworthy, and then making sure that we're on top of paperwork. I mean, this paperwork, you got to file it every single year, and it's time consuming. But to us, that time is worth it at the end of the day, because people can look at our product and say, I know that they did the work. I know that they took the time and they actually care about their brand, and they're not going to just put a claim out there and fake it and then forget about us. So to me, I would rather sit there and do that paperwork over and over and over again, because I can put a product out that I fully back.
Which certification maybe has taken the longest, or had the longest lead time? Is it
Yeah.
the non-GMO or was it something else?
It's the organic. It's the organic
Is it?
certification. Yeah. I never really appreciated it until I was on this side of it, because they meet you in person. They do a walkthrough of your facility. They look at every single tiny ingredient. Um, and it's just so thorough. So it really makes me appreciate when I'm going to the grocery store and looking for other organic items as well. I know that I can really trust that certification and that it's fully backed.
If you had to strip one certification from your stack tomorrow because the operational costs might not be worth it or it's marginally worth it, which one would go?
Question. Can I say none?
You can. Sure, that's an answer.
Because that's the whole point of our brand, right? We
Mhm.
want to showcase that, hey, we take the time so that you don't have to. We take the guesswork out of our products so that you can feel safe consuming it and you don't have to think twice about choosing Earthside Farms.
So all of these certifications are like your children, you love them all
Yeah.
equally.
Yeah. That's what makes our brand a brand.
Yeah, okay. So you've got 5 candied nut SKUs and you've got these mango
6,
variety
actually.
6, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I miscounted. And you got these variety packs, and now you're
hmm
in Walmart, you're in Giant,
hmm
ShopRite, 7-Eleven. Each
Yeah.
of these have their own planograms and
hmm
case pack requirements. So at what point does adding a SKU stop being a growth move and start being a
hmm
drag?
Yeah. I mean, there is like an operational expense to these too.
Mhm.
And whenever we're thinking of new flavors or new ideas, we try to uh, think about how we can use what we already have. So, take, for example, our cashews. We have blueberry vanilla cashews and we have coconut caramel cashews. And we kind of did that strategically because cashew is the most expensive item in our recipe. And if we're making one SKU, we want to ensure that, we're operationally running efficiently. Our co-packer has all the ingredients and we're being conservative fiscally too. So combining some of our ingredients, such as the cashew, the monk fruit, the non-sugar that we use, that makes it a little bit easier because we have less ingredients. That way, we can make sure that if we're making it in small batches, all of our ingredients are fresh. We're sourcing from same suppliers and we're reducing our operations and our supply chain as well so that we can make sure that we're getting product out, but it's efficient on our end and for the vendors that we're working with.
Have you ever killed a SKU? And what did that
We've thought
decision
about
actually
it.
look like?
We've
Okay,
thought about it. Yeah.
but you haven't.
We haven't yet. And we're actually in the process right now on figuring out how to make that work. And we're thinking of transitioning, or not transitioning, but adding in savory flavors. So savory nuts. And then when we, started with the mangoes, there was a point where we didn't think, because it was a new SKU, we weren't sure how we were going to make it work. And that's when we started adding our flavors to it. That's where innovation really helps. Unique ideas help. So if we want to keep the SKU alive, how can we make it work instead of sunsetting it?
Are you looking to do another fruit line on top of mangoes, such as, like, apricots? That dried
We're
apricots are
at
delicious.
They are, but it is a little saturated in the market. We were
Mhm.
thinking berries, so like dried strawberries, adding some
Never had a
flavors
dried
into that.
strawberry.
They're delicious. They're really
Okay.
good. There's also a lot of room for growth. There's organic strawberries that we can source. Personally, coming from the food background and from the research background, I think we can add a lot of flavors. So combining strawberries and mangoes, combining
Mm,
strawberry and banana, combining strawberry with other flavors. We were thinking of growing our fruit line in that direction.
okay. So no added sugar, vegan, natural. These aren't just marketing labels. They live and die in your supply
Hmm.
chain. What
Hmm.
happens when a supplier changes a spec or you need to swap
Yeah.
an ingredient because of cost or availability?
Yeah. So before we kind of started the brand, we did a lot of research and we have backup suppliers as well. And we work with a couple different suppliers. So going back to your previous question on certifications, when you work
Hmm.
and have organic certification, you need to give a list of every single supplier that you work with. So we've
Hmm.
already filed the paperwork and said, hey, we're going to source from these different suppliers. That's on our packaging as well, saying, product might come from this place or that. So we haven't really locked ourselves into one because things happen. We can't predict the future,
Sure.
might need to make exceptions. So whenever we create a flavor, we always test out a couple different options for it so that we can maintain the same quality, the same taste, but work with others as well.
Yeah, built-in redundancy in your supply chain is
Yeah.
is critical, right? So
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
nut prices move, and they've been quite volatile the last couple of years, how do you protect the no sugar added formulation without blowing your margin? Something kind of has to give, doesn't it?
Yes and no. I think this is where planning really comes into place. So we plan out way ahead. And of course, things can go awry. Like
Yeah,
you can plan all you want, but then at the end of the day, it comes into implementation. So that again, that's why we have a couple different suppliers. We have really good connections with our farmers as well. We know them personally, they know us. So that way, when something does happen, they know that we're going to come through. We're going to follow through. It's not just a one-time deal. And then we can kind of make things work because at the end of the day, we don't want to pass our cost on to the end consumer. We want to protect them from that. We want to maintain the freshness and the quality of our products, but we also want to be profitable at the same time in
of
all
course.
aspects.
Yeah,
So that's where I think relationships really come into play and just being upfront, being honest, hey, I know prices are surging for you. They are for me. Let's work out a deal and see how we can help each other out.
excellent. So you've landed in what, nearly 2,000 Walmart stores already, right? That's
Yeah.
something most newly bootstrapped brands are able to pull off in just a couple of years. Can you
Yeah.
walk me through how that actually happened and what was the pitch and what
Yeah.
did it cost you to say yes to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a process, Clayton, I'll be honest. And we pitched a few times until we got a yes. So it wasn't like a one time thing. A part of it was luck, a lot of it was hard work, going back to the drawing board. We actually ended up creating a whole new size of SKU for them because we had pitched our 1 ounce. And we ended up
Uh,
coming up with a 1.5 ounce just for Walmart to give them the amount that they were requesting for the price point and had to go back, create all different packaging, narrow it down to the exact flavors. So we gave them our banana bread walnuts and our blueberry vanilla cashews, which are two most popular flavors, and took a lot of advice from them as well. So it was a lot of back and forth. It took about 2 years from our first, application to Walmart to actually getting into shelves and stores.
Walmart is notoriously tough. So what's harder, the initial sell in or keeping velocity up once you're on the shelf and they're watching closely?
I think it's a little bit of both because once you're in the stores, that's where marketing comes into place. So you have to really, sell your brand not just to the buyer for Walmart instead of getting, a team in a room to try your products and to say yes on it. You have to go
Mhm.
out there and get the whole nation to try your products and say yes to it again and again and again. So it's hard both ways. I mean, going back, getting no's again and again, and having to come back to the drawing board and fight for it again is tough because it's hard not to be, it's hard not to give up when you face rejection. But when you believe in your product and you know that it's going to actually make it out there and it gets onto shelves, you already have a yes from the people in charge. So it motivates you to increase marketing. It motivates you to, kind of advertise to the end consumer that, hey, We're in Walmart. We deserve to be here. You should give us a shot.
Many small brands that land Walmart say they wish they'd waited until they were more operationally ready. Looking back,
Mhm.
was the timing right, or did you say yes, maybe just a tad too soon?
I think we made the timing right, and I think it's partially because we have a really good co-packer that's able to scale with us as well. We have a good team as well. That's really, our operations team is really motivated and ready to do what it takes to kind of get ourselves out there. And we have a great sales team internally as well. So I could see it going really far south if we didn't have the team that we do in all places, especially a co-packer that wouldn't be able to scale. But they just took it as a challenge, worked with us to make everything work, and could not have done it without them.
So when you look at what sells on your website direct
Mhm.
or via Amazon or via Walmart, how are those pictures different and what data source, if
Yeah.
any, do you trust more than the others?
Yeah.
Especially regarding what kind of marketing decisions you need to make.
Yeah. So something I've learned is like some brands will start from only online and go into
Hmm.
retail. Others will start retail and go into online. Both are a challenge, right? Because it's kind of like a chicken and the egg. So what we've
Yeah.
learned is we get a lot more data from our online sales because it's there. It's in the platform. You can see exactly who you're shipping to. You can see exactly who you're ordering to. In retail, it's a little harder to get the data because you're just shipping to, let's say, Walmart in this location, but you don't know who's actually picking it up. You have to wait until they're reordering again and again, and it's less SKUs or less flavors. So data-wise, I like the online sales. And because we can offer a lot more, we can offer variety packs, we can offer different sizes, we can offer more flavors. But I think both play a role in advertising in different ways because when you go into a store and you see it on the shelf, you'll recognize it because you've seen it online. And when you go into a store and you say, hey, they don't have that flavor, never mind, I'm going to go online and buy it from there and have that flavor, both kind of help in terms of branding and marketing.
Well, speaking of marketing, if you had to pick one signal between D2C or Amazon sales or Walmart sales, which one do you utilize more for your marketing decisions?
For marketing decisions, definitely online because we can market via our own website. We can market via social media. We're on TikTok Shop. That kind of helps a lot in marketing, acquiring new customers, testing out different, variety packs, things like that. There's no right or wrong path. Each one is kind of
Mhm.
different. But I think in terms of the data that you get for marketing online and like the ROAS, the click-through rate, the cost for acquiring customers, all of that, it's much easier to track with online sales rather than retail stores.
Now, you still have a pretty small team, well less than 20, I believe, right?
Hmm.
So with
Yeah.
your distribution footprint that you're
Hmm.
managing right now, we've mentioned Walmart and 7-Eleven, et cetera. How many of the daily decisions still come through you personally, and where is that starting to perhaps bottleneck?
Yeah. Right now I'm still pretty heavily involved with a lot of our day-to-day decisions, and I would like it that way because we are a smaller team. I think ultimately that will change as we start to grow, we get more executives, higher senior executives, but right now we're still, coming up with different product ideas. We're coming up with you know, ideas of how to grow into our sales and marketing and product development. So I still own a lot of our relationships from the supplier side to working with buyers from different companies. And I want to maintain that um, to showcase our brand identity and to get people to know about us. So it can create bottlenecks, but again, we run a pretty efficient team where all of us meet regularly every day. We're pretty efficient or transparent in what we're doing. So if something is creating a bottleneck, I'll pull in the rest of the team. We'll work on it to fix it right away, and get ideas from others on the team as well.
You mentioned hiring. What's the hardest role to hire for at your stage of business development at this point? Is it finding functional expertise or the people that can simply operate without a lot of structure around?
A little bit of both. I think, once you get the right personality in the right seat, it can make things a lot more smoother and efficient. I guess I should say, but also hiring someone with a background in food, in distribution, in CPG can be a little tough because it is so niche. So, but we're also not against mentoring and coaching. I mean, people from my team didn't have any experience. I didn't have any experience before starting the brand. So it's a lot of willingness to learn and grow. And as long as someone is coachable, I think that makes all the difference because a lot of it you learn on the job.
So you're in Bloomingdale's and you're in
Hmm.
7-Eleven. That's a wide brand arc. How
Yeah.
do you maintain a premium clean label identity when you're part of a distribution strategy that puts you next to $1.29 bag of planters in a convenience store?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this question. So, yes, we do have to cater towards different consumers. And at the end of the day, the goal for Earthside Farms is to get clean ingredient snacks into the hands of everybody.
Hmm.
So sometimes, healthy, organic, clean foods can be seen as very costly,
Yeah.
and people might stray away from that because they don't want to spend so much on a better for you brand. And so that's why, again, we're trying to bridge that gap between healthy and delicious, make it affordable, make ourselves known in many different markets so that people see this brand, they say, hey, I can trust this brand. I know that they're going to be there for me regardless of where I am. They're still premium quality and still getting a great snack at the end of the day, but I can afford it and I can enjoy it and I can share it with those that I love and I can feel good about it too. So a little bit has to do with how we market and who we market to, stressing different points. And a little bit has to do with our values and making sure that we're out there for everyone.
Are you doing anything differently as far as packaging or at the SKU level to protect the brand in mass versus convenience, like especially retail and
Yeah, so we
convenience
have
stores?
we have different sizes. So with our convenience sizes, we have the 1 ounce or the 1.5 ounce little grab and go packs. And you can just easily, take one on the go. They're made for one serving and you can finish it right there and then. And then for some of our retail channels on the shelves, we have larger shareable pack sizes. Those come in 4 ounce. They're in a resealable package. And you can grab that. You can throw that in your car. You can keep it in your pantry. You can keep it on the counter or at your desk or something like that. And that's made to last a little bit more, so have more servings in it.
So I'm guessing from what you said is there's really not a channel that you've turned down yet to protect your brand identity because you're wanting to
Hmm.
make it available and seem normal for
Hmm.
people that don't normally step into a Whole Foods.
Hmm.
Is that correct? You've not
Yeah.
eliminated not okay, good.
Yeah, so we want to be able to we want our consumers to be able to find us in any channel, and so that's why we modified our products to fit their needs.
Right.
Instead of just picking a niche, we said, "Hey, we're going to have smaller packs available if you need to grab something really quickly, and we're going to have bigger packs available so you can have that at the grocery store in the natural channel."
Well, I must say that I've had a couple of your products and they were delicious, and I look forward to enjoying this one later today.
Yeah. That's actually my favorite flavor, the blueberry
This is your
vanilla
favorite
cashew.
flavor? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of our top flavors, so that's our top 3.
Well, I've been doing keto for a while, and
Mhm.
I'm dropping off of it for a few days. My birthday's tomorrow. I'm going to splurge on a big meal, and that's
Happy
dessert
early
right here.
birthday. Very nice. Yeah, that's
Asmina,
amazing.
thank you so much for joining me today here on Heart Signal. It was a
Mhm.
true pleasure, and I wish you all the best of luck, and I can't wait to see you guys just blow up even bigger.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Clayton. It was a pleasure being on
Okay.
the show. Thank you for having us, and happy early birthday. I'm glad you're gonna be able to celebrate, with
Thank
Earthside
you.
Farms.
Thank
Yeah.
you.